a community mental health. With therapists, doctors, and prevention specialists in 70 counties, help is available. The opioid epidemic is growing, and everyone can play a role in preventing addiction. You can make a difference and get answers by visiting newvista.org or call our 24-hour helpline at 1-800-928-8000. New Vista. We see the good ahead.
Today we are talking about vaccinations and how Kentuckians really around for a while now. A slight number of people don't get that vaccine. That's going to cause outbreaks, and we have seen things like measles outbreaks across the country in the past few years. Now, the good news, when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccines, the polls showed an overall decrease in vaccine hesitancy by about 1/3, and this is compared to just 6 months ago. So this shows that Kentucky's efforts to encourage people to get the shot are working. So what's causing this vaccine hesitancy? Experts say it's misinformation for the most part.
I'm Austin Pollock in Georgetown. Just in the last couple of days, police posted some alarming charts. They're more so graphs on their Facebook page. Now, what this showed was the number of overdose cases they've had to respond to in Scott County. Now, just to give you kind of a background on the situation, the numbers from 2020 to 2021 so far have skyrocketed. They've broken really what those numbers were last year. And again, it's important to remember 2021
Did you get that email I sent you? I can't hear you if you're talking.
Sorry, you know you're recording right now?
Yes.
Okay. I said, I got it. And then when I went back to get it, it disappeared. And then I haven't gotten another one. But my Outlook and stuff, something is like all haywire. So we've been trying to fix that. Anyway, I was able to export it and fix it. So I'm good to go. We're all right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you got it.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Bobby, I'm gonna have to get off here because I'm getting ready to get on Zoom. Hang on. Hi, Cutie. How are you?
Hello.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm a little tired. Not gonna say I'm not, but I've just been getting over sinuses and stuff. I did get tested. I'm negative.
Well, that's good.
That's what I said. Hey,
Yeah.
Ben. Todd's on his way home. He says he's gonna jump on here in a minute.
Okay.
Has anybody
Well,
seen him?
Can you hear me?
Is that you, Tim?
No, that's Ben.
Oh, Ben. Yes, I hear you, Ben. I'm sorry.
Everybody doing all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I thought Zooming might be a little bit better for us right now. Just follow the mayor's lead.
Absolutely. Well, it's much easier. It's, believe it or not, it's much easier for me to take minutes because I can do them as we go. I don't have to write and then go back and do them on the computer. So typically when we Zoom at the end, I can just check spelling and do stuff and send them right to Brennan. So
That's good.
yeah, I prefer it for that reason. But other than that, I like seeing everybody.
Okay. Have we got any guests on here today? Does anybody know?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it even. There's Tim.
There's
None
Tim
that I know
and
of.
Nick. Does anybody know if, hey, Nick, does anybody know if Natalie's coming? Brennan, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. What about you, Eddie?
Yes, I had my thing on mute.
And who's the city of Georgetown over here that I don't know?
It's me.
It's
City of
Brennan.
Georgetown right here?
It's me. I had to have
Brennan.
it active.
Oh, you have two?
It's active for the YouTube website.
Okay, gotcha. Tim, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna let y'all know that Todd's on his way. He's gonna jump
Natalia's
on.
here.
Huh?
Natalia's coming in.
Okay.
I have a question. Eddie Fryman has been on here as a representative for the Public Works for a long time, but he never comes. So do we need to replace him or take them off?
We need to leave him on there.
Okay. We can follow up with that and let you know about that kitty. Okay.
Okay. It's just been quite some time since he's been there, so.
Yeah, he may not come, but somebody, because he's just really busy.
Okay.
I always
Okay.
hand Eddie all the assignments, and he gets them done in the field. He does a lot.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's on this committee to be at these meetings, and he hasn't been here for probably a year, and they don't send a representative. So I don't know if we need to leave a space.
Well, we got, like, for example, I'm part of the Public Works Department. Brendan's part of the Public Works Department. Eddie's Public Works Department. Robert Bruin is Public Works Director. So we all work on the same.
I'm aware of all that, and I understand that. I'm just trying to determine if this person needs to stay on this committee to be accounted present if nobody's coming.
Yeah, he needs to stay on there. Yeah.
Okay, we can address that later. Let's go ahead and get our meeting started. It's 4:32. Todd will be here in a little bit. He'll just jump on. Okay, guys. What I want to do is start with the minutes, approval of minutes. If everybody's had a chance to read over those, if I could get a motion.
I make a motion to accept them.
Okay, Eddie, now get a second.
I'll second.
Nick. Okay, does anybody have any questions about the minutes? Okay, if not, everybody vote aye.
Aye.
Do I have any opposed? Okay, let's move on. The next thing we want to do is welcome guests, which we don't have. So we're going to skip on down to new business. And I'd like to bring everybody up to date from our traffic ordinance meeting today real quick. And we've got a few things we just want to throw out to you guys to be thinking about. We've really gotten pretty far. We've really been knocking it out, and we've got a lot of stuff erased out of our ordinance that is like duplicated, that the police department actually does KRS statutes. So we have really narrowed it down to the things that we have to deal with in our small city, which is parking, ticketing, and things like that. So I'm gonna let Eddie jump in here. There's some issues about parking, and it's about the street widths. And the thing about it is that some of the street widths are just the way they are. And then planning and zoning has changed that when they're doing new development. So Eddie, tell them what we want them to think about for safety reasons. Go ahead.
So we would like to get everybody to be thinking about and make suggestions for the revision of the ordinance on kind of the top 10 list, if you will, of public safety streets. And what I mean by that is where the streets are too narrow, they're parking, and it's becoming hard to pass through there just because of the way the street was built. It's probably an old neighborhood. I know that Tim has mentioned several times one street, and you don't have to answer them right now off the top of your head unless it's just obvious. You can send a email to us, to me and Brennan, copy Brennan, and we'll put together a list of kind of these are the ones that we really need to focus on, and look at doing once the ordinance passes through city council, look at those streets first as where we need to take some action in the future in terms of putting up no parking signs and that kind of thing. And that's kind of what we talked about today, amongst a lot of other things that we're in the process of finishing up the final revisions to the traffic ordinance, and then it'll go out to the everybody to review, and then eventually goes to the city council as the last step. So that seems to be working really well. And so we're looking for the top 10 list of streets and roads where public safety, particularly Nick and Tim, have received the most complaints about, ambulances and fires, and just trying to get through that street, because a lot of traffic's on it and they're parking on the street and probably don't need to be parking on the street. And that's is that, Connie, you have anything to add to that?
No, that's pretty much it. But Tim, Nick, if you all have any questions about that, just email Eddie, and I would copy Devin in that as well, and me. And if there's any questions,
yes,
and
good.
then we can address them at our next meeting. We do have our next meeting scheduled for, was it October what, guys?
The 12th, I believe.
It's like the 10th
12th.
or the 12th. Yeah,
It's the 12th,
okay.
Tuesday. So we're trying to keep it on the calendar, and we're really trying to knock it out. We're trying to stay focused on it, and we've came a long way, seriously. So Tim, Nick, get with Eddie and Brennan and Devin and myself, and let's come up with that list. And even you, Ben, if you think of anything, let us know, okay? So moving on right along.
Wait a minute.
Go.
So we don't currently have a list. Eddie's looking for a list.
That is correct.
Okay.
Top 10 safety issues for parking. We're going to go on with new business. Clayton and Hollyhock intersection. Who got that complaint?
That came in through PD and Chief Bossy.
Okay, what's the issue at the intersection?
People were coming the wrong way because it's one way when I guess they were leaving that parking lot right there for the college.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's been close accidents, and I guess many tickets wrote, but it was Eddie forwarded me the email. That's all I remember of it. If Eddie remembers more.
No, there's some issues with that intersection. Not sure what exactly we're going to do yet. We haven't. We just got the complaint in a few days ago, so we haven't really. We don't have a whole lot of information exactly what's going on at this time. Nick, do you know anything about that intersection?
I know that there were several calls in that area, I think, during college move-in, a lot of the freshmen move-in. So I don't know if it's an issue of signage or not. So I can try to find out more information for you guys on that.
Yeah, I hadn't had a chance to call Chief Bossy and discuss it in any detail, but I did tell him we would bring it up in the traffic committee that we were having some problems out there.
Okay, Nick, if you can do that for us, kind of get a little bit more information on it, and maybe even shoot us an email, and then we can maybe come up with a remedy before we have our next meeting, okay?
Will do.
Okay. Does anybody have any other new business they would like to bring forward?
I got an issue brought up to me just down the street at Clayton, where it hits South Broadway, right across from Highland. The way it sounds is it widens out right there where you're at South Broadway, and you've got room for two vehicles, whether they're supposed to go straight or whether the right is a turn lane or straight lane is not clear. There's no markings out there. So people have been going straight through the intersection, but then others are passing at the same time. So there's near accidents. I guess the solution would be an arrows striping or something in that location to address, but I don't know if that's possible.
I know exactly where you're talking about. Do you, Eddie?
I haven't. This is the first I've heard about it. And so I don't know. Maybe Ben and I and Brennan could take a look out there and come up with some possible solutions.
I know where he's talking about, and I know how it comes up when you're coming from Clayton to headed to Broadway, and then it widens. And so people will either go straight or left or turn right. And I think the arrow thing would probably help quite a bit. I see it because I come down that hill all the time, and I see it happening all the time.
Yeah, it's part of that. It's keyed into that entrance into that lot. That's why it's widened right there. I just saw it there earlier.
Because it's not two, I mean, it's never been 2 lanes. It's always just been 1 lane.
Yeah.
That is correct. Well, we can take a look at that and bring it back next week. You can get with Eddie, okay, Ben?
That sounds good.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Has anybody else got anything, new business that they want to bring forward? I do. This is not new business. This is old business, but if we're going to go to old business, I wanted to ask about the striping. If our striping is coming along where it's almost finished from the paving.
Are you talking about for downtown?
Downtown, yes.
Right. Okay, I was not on mute. Yeah, so they have done the crosswalks in the center lanes and the turn lanes. They may have skipped a spot or 2, but all the road work's done. What's left is the parking stalls. We have to stripe the parking stalls. And I don't have a date yet when they're going to be here to do that. But it's going to be done here in the near future. And we're going to go back with everything exactly like it was before, with the exception of the pub and the planning and zoning building.
Okay.
We are going to do the angled parking or a combination of angled parking and parallel parking, because there's a site visibility issue out of one residence that is there. And so we're going to do parallel parking to make her site distance. She won't have any issues. It'll be as close to how it was before we changed the configuration in there.
Okay.
So,
And I've met with them, and it's all, we kind of work through the issues that they had, and I think we've come up with a good compromise solution.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Kitty.
Because there was just, Natalia might be able to answer one of them. We had discussed that we would have white lines on East Main as traffic calming. And that's 1. And then 2, if you look in front of the college entrance, there's broken lines so that you can pass. And they're like, obviously you have the entrance to the college, you have multiple driveways. I would not think that we would want a passing lane into our downtown, but that's how it's currently marked.
I'll have to take a look at the center line marking. I'd probably put it back the way it was. As for the bike lane, there's no room for a bike lane. It's just we're marking the edge of parking and kind of a buffer zone, but it's not going to be a bike lane.
Right. It's not a bike lane, but the white stripes indicating that it's a parking area and not part of the highway.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tim got kicked off if he has anything new business or not.
Who did, Tim?
Tim did when you were asking about new business. So if he has anything.
Tim, do you have any new business you want to bring forth before we move on? He said
no, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, let's go with old business, handicap parking at 417 Walnut Street. I think we had decided that we weren't going to do that, correct?
Yeah, we unfortunately, we went out there and we couldn't really come up with a good reason to do it. So we're not going to do it.
Okay, want to remove that off of the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, will you remove that, Kitty? Okay, number 6 on Falls Creek's mailboxes. That was another thing that we talked about in traffic ordinance meeting today. I think they're going to be checking with the post office. Is that right, Eddie?
Yeah, we're going to do we know that the post office is moving towards these central collection boxes. But some of the old neighborhoods, they still have their boxes up right by the street, and people are parking in front of them and blocking them in several different places in town. So we're going to address that with the traffic ordinance.
We'll just leave it on there for right now. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Number 7, Village Park Drive access to Champion US 32.
Yeah, that's Officer Lodell brought that to our attention. We're going to have a couple of signs installed out there to keep people from like no outlet signs. So
Okay.
they tend to go in there and turn around, and so we're going to put a few in there.
Okay, we'll leave it on there till you get that done, okay?
Yeah, we've already ordered the signs, and it's just a matter of getting them installed.
Okay. Okay, number 8, dead tree on East Main Street. Have you been able to address that, Eddie?
Yeah, that's been a recurring problem down there, and unfortunately, it's a state tree, and I don't have any funds to take out those kinds of trees, and they're also interfering with the power lines, which also, the power lines just run through the big trees, and there's really not a lot I can do. I mean, with that.
Natalia, can you address that?
Have you talked to anyone? Did you talk to Austin?
Yeah, I've talked to Austin, and Austin said that unless the tree is the kind of the position that the state takes on these kinds of things is, unless the tree is a safety hazard, like it's totally rotted out and it's going to fall over, it's just a matter of first big storm, then they'll come in and take them out. Otherwise, the property owner can take them out. They just ask for a new tree to be planted back. They want to do a 1-for-1 replacement. So the state won't take it out unless it's clearly rotting and it's going to fall over, and it's kind of a maintenance thing. The property owner can take them out at their expense, and they would need to get a vegetation removal permit from the state, which I can help them do, and they would have to plant a tree back in its place.
Okay. So it's not
unapproved. I'm sorry, what?
It's not completely dead and rotted out or anything.
No, it's just kind of it's just a big, huge tree, right? And it's buckled up the sidewalk. It's buckled up the sidewalk and all this stuff. And
no, it has not buckled up the sidewalk. It's across the street from my house. It's just dead. There is very little living at the top. And I just brought it to everyone's attention last time, because if it falls, it's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's driving down the street and it just happens to be the time that it decides to fall in the street, that's going to be an issue.
Right.
So Matthew Bland is the agronomy person here, and they would evaluate it. I mean, I can send it to them if Austin hasn't already, and they'll take a look at it and they'll make a determination whether or not it meets their criteria to have it removed by contract. Otherwise, it would be kind of along the lines of the process will be what Eddie just outlined.
Well, would you do that for us, Natalia?
Yeah, do you have an address?
Do you have an address, Kitty?
519 East Main.
519 East Main.
Thank you.
Hey, Todd. Thanks
How
for
are y'all?
joining.
Not a problem.
Okay. Sorry about my dogs, you all. We're going to go to the next one. Walmart delineators. Eddie, you got an update on that?
They're sitting up there on the side of the road and need to be put back up. And, I've asked the state to take a look at it, and they've got it on their list of to-do list, but I don't have a date when they're going to do it. What happened was the snowplows knocked them over.
Okay.
We don't have.
And then they just.
So we don't have a contract to fix that pipe. That specific brand is not on our, we don't have a contract for it. So I don't know. We can send somebody to pick up the spare parts and salvage them. But
does the state have to do it, Natalia?
No, not necessarily. If that product needs to go back in, then, we could do it various routes. It could be done by permit, or it could be, product could be purchased by the city and us put it up. We just currently don't have that particular product on any contract for repair. Is the issue. We don't have a good delineation system that would fit in that particular location. And also it was mentioned, the desire to extend those delineators out further, which, we have to evaluate to see what type would fit in best based on the space available. But it's kind of, we don't have an island there that goes all the way up to the signal. So we'd have to take up some of the lane, and it would have to, there may need some striping done. And also there's a situation where we don't have a contract for that particular, or for any type of delineation device other than quick curb repair.
So what would be the best route to move forward to try to get something done with it?
I don't really have an answer for that right now.
Okay. Is it something that our public works can do? Or do we want to do that, Eddie?
Well, we don't, we use I'm a little confused, Natalia, about we use the brand that the state asked us to use out there, thinking that was the one that they, that they serviced and maintained. We did that when we actually, it was actually a kind of, they had submitted a different type at first, and we insisted that they install this certain brand. But anyways, as far as getting them fixed, I don't really have anybody who could do that. I don't have any, we really don't have the knowledge and the know-how to put those back in. But yeah, so I don't know. I was hoping the state would go ahead.
Yeah, we'll just have to keep it on the list until we can figure something out. I don't have an answer for that right now.
Yeah, I understand.
We don't have any type of, I've never heard of that particular brand before. We've used Pexco before, but we don't have a contract currently for that either.
Yeah, it was called, I think it was a very specific brand that the state, and I went with Robert Baker. We went round and around about that because I wanted to make sure I got the right units in. And whatever we put in out there, I got the cut sheet I'm not at my desk right now, but I can send out what we did install.
Okay, we might want to do that, Eddie. See if we can get moving on that a little bit, okay?
Okay.
On your list of stuff that you have to do.
No, it's fine. It's been out there for a while. It's just one of those things. Those snow plows hit that, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go into that weather again too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll check into it and see if we can't come up with a a little bit more information on next meeting. The
Mhm.
Ward Hall interest from US 460, is that going to take place, Natalia?
What one is that?
The Ward Hall entrance from US 460, what's that about?
Ward Hall.
No, that's a residential development, Connie. That's one of those projects that if they ever expand that subdivision, they would make that connection to 460.
Isn't
It's
that
right
right
out there.
across from Canewood?
It's
Yeah.
Ward Hall Estates.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not Canewood, it's the Payne's Landing section.
Okay.
General John Payne. So my understanding, the plans have been turned in to the state for review, and they want to build it this year. So they can expand the subdivision there. Have you seen anything, Natalia, on that, or is it Robert Baker's desk?
Let me see here. It may be in Robert Baker's field, on his desk. So basically, I think the question there was whether or not it would require left turn lanes or turning lanes, and if I recall correctly, it did not. You can't hold them to it, the building turning lanes, unless it meets warrants. No, that's not the right thing.
Isn't that going to be a traffic nightmare across from another sub? Because Payne's Landing is busy.
They have other access points as well, so they're going to be making connections. They're going to have 2 other access points, so the traffic's going to be distributed.
Oh, okay.
So they'll have an access, I think, onto Payne, and then also somewhere on the bypass, I guess. I think
Well, you can get to Payne's Landing from Canewood, and you can get to Payne's Landing from Delissa in White Oak Village. So is that what you're talking about, the access points? That's the only ones I know of.
No, this will be in Ward Hall side, so
It's across the street.
Correct.
So they can come out on Ann Jennings Way on the 62. That would be an access point you're talking about. And then
Yes, and then they're going to build another access point onto McClellan Circle as well.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, we'll just
expansion.
keep it on there and see what happens. All right.
I
Tap
think it
grant
goes into
project.
McClellan Springs too, I think.
Yeah, that's what Ben just said.
Yeah, I mean, that's under permit, so I don't really know that we need to keep it on here. I think it was just,
Brought up.
because we had a question about whether or not it was gonna get turning lanes, but that's neither here nor there. It's going to, whatever's determined by warrant through the permit process is what's gonna happen regardless of discussion, so.
Okay.
Yes, I need to keep
You
it
go ahead
on.
and take that off, Kitty. All right. Thank you, Natalia.
Yep.
TAP grant project, Eddie. You there, Eddie?
He's on mute.
Oh yeah, I had a mute on. Sorry. I hate Zoom. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
It's not like you're new. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry, I apologize, everybody. That was not a good comment. So the TAP grant project is, I got an email actually today from our contact, and we have put in a request for the additional funding for the shortfall. The bids came in over budget, and it's, of course, the downtown streetscape over the Rural Springs Aquifer. We're all familiar with the project. So we've got a low bidder. We've got a bid in place, and we're trying to secure that additional dollars we need to go into construction. And that request has been made to the state, and we are waiting to hear an answer back from them whether the city will get an additional grant dollars or not.
Okay.
And as soon as I find something out, I'll let everybody know.
Okay, well, we'll just keep it on there for informational purposes, okay?
Yeah, it's good to keep it on everybody's radar.
All right, that sounds
Okay.
good. So number 12, no parking signs, council recommendations. Now, this is what we were talking about when
Right,
we first
this
talked
is-
about new business.
Yeah, this is kind of the beginning of our top 10 list that we were talking about. So we've already started that list. It's just we'd like to expand upon it.
So we're gonna keep that
Keep
in
that
our
on there.
traffic ordinance
Yep, and add to it.
and add to it.
Yep.
Okay. The intersection of Hamilton and Washington, the stop bar.
Yeah, it's work in progress. Robert promised me he's going to get that put in. He's just got to find time to get out there and do it.
Okay, and I went out of line a while ago on Kentucky Highway 460 downtown parking modification. You've already given us an update on that.
Yeah, we're waiting on the parking stalls to get put in, and we're going to put those back as we discussed.
Okay, and we're not going to talk about stop signs on Seminole Drive right now. We'll just hold off on that. And then our traffic ordinance, we're moving along on that really well. I'm very proud of that. Yep. And then our table business, Cynthiana Road, traffic and lighting. That's tabled, so we'll just keep it tabled for right now. Has anybody else got any business they want to bring before traffic meeting?
No, thank you, Connie.
Okay, our
thank
next
you, Kitty,
meeting
and everybody.
Our next meeting is October 18th, and I'll let you know. We'll email you out about Zooming or not, okay?
Hold the bus. Do you want to move the stop signs number 15 onto tabled business, and since they are waiting the ordinance?
Yes, that would be perfect. Thank you, Kitty. You're awesome.
And would you like to do that with the other 5 streets in the top 10 as well?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, number 12 and number 15.
Yes.
That'd be perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody got anything else? Next meeting is October 18th at 4:30. We'll send you out an email Friday before, letting you know if we're going to Zoom or not. And other than that, thank everybody for being here. And we'll see you later. Have a great week.
Thank you, Connie.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
See ya.
Bye.